Did you know that in Megabonk, a game that is way too addictive, the ninja character does the Naruto run? Which is cool, but the Naruto run is dangerously close to becoming an overused Easter egg. Hello and welcome to another episode of Video Game Easter Eggs, the series where we take a look at some of the latest and not so latest Easter eggs found in video games. As always, if you think you know of an Easter egg, secret or hidden detail that I'm yet to cover, then let me know in the comments. And leaving a like on the video always makes me happy. Anyway, without further delay, let's get started. Right, let's begin today's video with Dying Light the Beast. Now, we've covered loads of cool Easter eggs and details from the Beast, but there might be an Easter egg that hasn't been solved. At this location on the map, you can find a music studio, which is of course full of zombies. I mean, it's Dying Light, what do you expect? Well, after dealing with the undead, you can find this. So this book is called the Book of the Dead, which is pretty ominous. The only Book of the Dead that I know of, and one that has been referenced in games before, is the Necronomicon from the Evil Dead. But that's not what this is. Anyway, when you pick the book up, it disappears. No, it really does. You can't find it in your inventory or in the collectibles tab. It's gone for good. Now, of course, that is really weird. But if I had to take a guess, I would say that there are more of this book, or similar books, to find in Castle Woods. And you have to collect a certain amount of books to make something happen. The only problem is, I've played a lot of the Beast, and this is the only book that I've seen on my travels. If you have any idea as to what this book means, or if you've seen any other books, then let me know in the comments. Now, racing games aren't usually home to a lot of Easter eggs. I mean, open world races are more likely to be hiding something, and that's the case with CarX Street. CarX Street is a mobile racer that is now available as a full release on Steam and consoles. If I'm honest, it feels like a mobile racer, but that also means that the price is a budget-friendly £15. Now, you're free to explore the streets of CarX Street as soon as the game gets going, and it's not long before we can find our first Easter egg. At this location on the map, you can find this. So underneath the blue tarp is the unmistakable shape of the DeLorean from the Back to the Future movies. I know that some of you are maybe pressing X to doubt right now, as we can't actually see the car. But in the same barn, you can also find the hoverboard, the flux capacitor that powers the DeLorean, various dates important to the movies, the Out of Time license plate, and this bin. Well, okay, the bin isn't a reference, but everything else is. I mean, we've all seen our fair share of Back to the Future references before, but at least this Easter egg referenced more than just the car. The other CarX Street Easter egg could do some serious damage. At this location on the map, you can find this. So, in what has to be a serious breach of health and safety rules, someone has painted a tunnel on this wall, which might be enough to trick some drivers into thinking it's an actual road. I mean, sure, to think this is a tunnel, you'd have to be Stevie Wonder, but it could happen. Of course, the idea of drawing tunnels on a wall isn't original. Wile E. Coyote from the Looney Tunes has been doing it for years, though with not much success. Now, I know that it's easy to hate on Fortnite, but you have to admit, being able to switch from Spider-Man to Ghostface mid-game so that you can murder an enemy up close and personal is pretty damn cool. When playing Fortnite, I always think, what would 12-year-old me think of this game? And I'm not ashamed to admit that 12-year-old me would have been all over this. Anyway, it's currently spooky season, which means Fortnitemares is in full swing, with the likes of Jason Voorhees now patrolling the map. Well, there is a more subtle horror movie reference that you can find at Freaky Fields. So this robot coming out of the TV is a reference to The Ring, which seems to be getting referenced more and more with each passing week. As for the little robot guy taking on the role of Samara, I'm not sure what the deal with him is. I haven't played Fortnite in ages, but I've seen loads of these little guys around, and they're usually up to no good. The other Fortnitemares discovery doesn't reference a horror movie, but if it was 2020, it would be just as scary. At Creepy Camps, you can find this. So it's a pumpkin head with a toilet paper body. The reason that this would have been so scary in 2020 is because there was a certain event that caused people to panic buy household necessities, like tin goods, medication, and of course toilet paper. So I've said before that the Talos Principle games have always had some really cool Easter eggs. The Talos Principle games have always had some really cool Easter eggs. See, I did say that. Well, to continue proving past me right, I found 3 more Easter eggs from the Talos Principle Reawakened that you might enjoy. First up, you can find this. So, it's an actual Easter egg. I always find it funny when devs do this, and to be honest, I'm surprised we don't see it more. Next up, in Test World 3, you can find this. So it's a red balloon in a sewer, which is of course a reference to it. You know, I remember the first red balloon Easter egg that I found in a game. It was Far Cry 5, I think, and I remember how excited I got when I found it. How naive I was. Anyway, you might remember that in Test Level 2, we found Boo's door from Monsters Inc. Well, that was on the right side of this gate. I wonder what's on the left. So it's not quite Boo's door, but this is a reference to the popular puzzle game, The Witness. Fans of the channel may remember The Witness as that game that had a really cool fourth wall breaking secret cutscene. Right, let's end today's video with Ghost of Yotei. Now, I've always been platform agnostic. What I mean by that is my gaming loyalty wasn't to any particular brand. Basically, I went wherever the Easter eggs were. If I had to pick though, I would always play on the Xbox, because I had years of history on the system, so that's where a lot of my games were. Well, after Microsoft's recent actions, I've decided to jump ship, and now my primary console of choice is the PlayStation 5. And I couldn't be happier. It was when playing the opening to Ghost of Yotei that I thought, I can't remember the last time Xbox released a game this polished. And that's really sad. I mean, it's good for the industry as a whole that Microsoft gets their shit together, because competition is always a good thing, but as things stand, I just can't see how they can turn things around. Anyway, enough doom and gloom, let's talk about Yotei's Easter eggs. Now, if you didn't know, Ghost of Yotei is developed by Sucker Punch, who have quite the pedigree when it comes to developing games. And if you didn't know that, you certainly will by the time you finish this game. For example, at this location on the map, you can find this. So this mural, found in the Animal Sanctuary, is a reference to Carmelita Fox and Sly Cooper from the Sly Cooper series, with the last game being released in 2013, which for the record was 12 years ago. Another mural can be found here on the map, and it's even cooler. So this mural is a reference to the canon ending of Infamous 2, and the last Infamous game released in 2014, which for the record was 11 years ago. Now, as much as I'm enjoying Ghost of Yotei, and I really am, I can't be the only one begging for another Infamous or Sly Cooper game, and being constantly reminded of them in the form of Easter eggs really isn't helping. Oh, and there is another Infamous reference to find, and this one is really cool. At this location on the map, you can find this. Huh. So after dodging the lightning, you can pick up the infamous strike, which is obviously another nod to the Infamous games. In those games, or at least 2 of them, your character had electric powers, which explains the lightning strikes nearby. I mean, after all that build up, what with the lightning strikes, it's still just a regular sword, but I'd say it's a cool regular sword. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video, then leaving a like is really appreciated. Remember to use my link in the description or scan the QR code to get 10% off your gamer subs. It's a great way to support the channel and actually get something back in return. If you are a fan of Easter eggs and secrets in video games, then perhaps consider subscribing, as that's what this channel is all about. YouTube seems to think that you'll enjoy the video on screen, so go ahead and check that out. And as always, thank you all for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.